park with the husband and the dogs. It's my Saturday morning thing. That's my hubby behind me. Say hi, Cliff. He's hiding. See how he hides behind the glass? You can't see him if he puts his glasses on. I'm talking about the 12 steps of recovery. And I say it like that because it doesn't matter what program you're working. It doesn't matter if you're doing AA or if you're doing NA or if you're doing
NEA.
NEA. Anything that ends in an A stems from the 12 steps of AA. And it's all the same spiritual principles. It's all the same steps. It's all meant to bring you to a psychic change so that you stop using drugs and alcohol to solve your problems. Because that is not the problem. That is your wrong solution to your actual problems. If anything that I am saying is something that you disagree with, let me know. Let's talk about it. I'm giving you my experience, strength, and hope based on my recovery, based on my knowledge as a recovery coach, based on my knowledge of working with addicts in a treatment center, which I will never name the treatment center. I will never do a day in the job of. I will never speak about my clients. That's never going to happen, so don't ask me. But I give my experience, strength, and hope based on what I know and have learned over the last 6.5 years of being clean and the previous 25 years of ripping and running. Go sit down in a group of people that have already figured out, are already living sober, already living clean, living happy, joyous, and free, and let them help you figure it out. How many of us go, well, I wasn't insane. Really? Really? Let's talk about insanity. Let's talk about doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I'm going to drink, but I'm not going to get a hangover. I'm going to drink, but I'm not going to get a DUI. I'm going to drink, but I'm not going to ruin my relationship, ruin my job, lose all my money, get evicted. Sound familiar to anybody? You don't have to tell me. Be honest with yourself. How about, I thought that I could take part in this illegal activity, which would be the possessing, using, buying, selling of drugs. But it wouldn't be illegal for me. I would never get in trouble. I would never get caught. Again, wouldn't lose my wife, wouldn't lose my husband, wouldn't lose my kids, wouldn't go to jail, wouldn't lose my job, wouldn't get evicted. None of these things are going to happen to me. That is insane thinking. Get me out of my insane thinking and behavior and restore me so that I can be recovered, so that I can recover the sanity that I lost because the demon addiction took over my life. Does that make sense to anybody? I bet it does. You don't got to tell me. That's fine. You don't have to be honest with me. Be honest with yourself. You don't have to tell me nothing. Who am I? I'm not your mom. I'm not your sponsor. I'm not your probation officer. You don't got to answer to me. You don't have to believe it 100%. You can fake it till you make it. Get in there, give it a shot, see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? It works. The worst that can happen is that it doesn't work. Well, it's already not working for you. Right? You already don't have sanity. You already, under your own power, your life's falling apart. And if that's not true, you wouldn't show up at one of these meetings. And whether or not you say to yourself, well, I'm only at this meeting because, I got a DUI or the judge told me I had to, or wait, guess what? People that don't have problems don't end up in those situations. I never got locked up for nothing. I always got locked up for something. Maybe the charge that I caught, maybe I wasn't guilty exactly of that, but I was guilty of something. And I was getting away with a lot of stuff. Stay away from the chaos. If it's going to steal your peace, if it's going to cost you your peace, it's too expensive. I cannot afford low frequency emotions. I can't afford to be fearful, angry, resentful, jealous. I can't afford it. Those are the things that feed the demon. And if I feed my demon, if he gets any kind of strength and breaks out of that cage, it's over for all of us. Because I will go and I will take everybody with me on my way out. And if you're an addict like me, you know what I'm talking about. If you're like me, the last emotion I had left was fear. And only things that stemmed from that fear. I had lost all hope. And how many of us have lost hope because that demon, that addiction has taken over everything. And it makes you hopeless when you've lost your job. You've lost your relationships. You don't have any money. I mean, you find money for the dope man, one way or another, right? You've lowered all your standards. So all your nevers become yets, and all those yets become lowered standards. I'm going to say this to you. Nobody starts out living under the bridge. Nobody wakes up one day and goes, hey, you know what? I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to end up living under the bridge and I'm going to have nothing left but what I can scrape up for the dope man. Nobody wakes up and says that. That just happens over time. It's a downhill thing that happens to us because we are no longer sane. We are no longer running our own life. The addiction demon is running our life. And until we can figure out how to starve that demon, quit feeding it, it feeds you drugs and alcohol so it can get what it needs. And what does it need? Fear, anger, resentment. It needs you to die. It wants to kill you, but it will settle for your misery and the misery of everybody around you. Cannot feed my demon because I'm not trying to go back to prison and I'm not trying to die. And some of you that are in recovery and have been there for a minute will recognize a lot of the stuff that I'm saying because I speak in cliches, bumper stickers. I'm a t-shirt waiting to happen because it's all true. Starve the demon. Recovery by any means necessary. It's not just about 12 steps. It's not just AA. It's not just NA. Listen, not everybody works the 12 steps. Not everybody goes to rehab. Not everybody goes to church. No, but the same thing that's going to work for me isn't necessarily going to work for somebody else. But if it worked for one person, it'll work for a million people. Don't give up. If you try to get into something and it just doesn't work for you, don't give up. Find something else. There's a lot of different ways. There's no wrong way to get clean. There's no wrong way to get sober. If it works and it keeps you off the drugs and it gets you back to sanity and gets your behavior to change so you can be a productive member of society, if you can stop doing addict behavior, whatever it is that got you there, do it. Do it. And then tell everybody else how you did it.